It is 9:34 p.m. on Saturday, March 14, 1964, when three black Cadillacs pull up in front of Johnson's barbershop on 125th Street in Harlem. 8 Italians from the Genovese family get out carrying baseball bats and chains. They are looking to send a message to Bumpy Johnson, the king of Harlem, who is supposedly expanding his territory into the Bronx. What they don't know is that the quiet 58-year-old man sweeping the sidewalk in front of the barbershop, dressed in mechanic's overalls and a worn cap, is exactly the one they need to fear. That man is Clarence Clean Hands Washington, Bumpy's right-hand man for 32 years, the one responsible for solving the problems that not even Bumpy wants to know how they were solved. The air smells of pomade, pipe tobacco, and the electric tension that precedes violence. What will happen in the next few minutes will change the balance of power in Harlem forever. Clarence Washington has been sweeping the same sidewalk in front of Johnson's barbershop for 15 years. His calloused hands grip the wooden handle of the broom as he pushes dry leaves and cigarette butts toward the gutter. The scent of bay rum shaving lotion mixes with the sound of jazz spilling out from nearby bars. Clarence is 58 years old, with completely gray hair cropped close, a stooped posture that makes him look older than he is. To everyone in the neighborhood, he is simply Old Clarence, the quiet janitor who has kept the block clean for decades. The barbershop is located on the corner of 125th Street and Lenox Avenue in the pulsing heart of Harlem. The windows are decorated with posters of Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. There are 6 barber chairs, all occupied on a Saturday night. Black men in elegant suits wait their turn, discussing politics, music, women. The atmosphere is relaxed, familiar, safe. This is Bumpy Johnson's territory, and in Bumpy's territory, black people can breathe without fear. Clarence pushes his broom slowly, methodically. He never hurries his work. He never draws attention. He nods in greeting to the customers coming and going from the barbershop. Some tip him 25 cents. Clarence always smiles, thanks them in a soft voice, goes back to sweeping. No one really knows who he is. No one asks. In Harlem, there are stories better left buried. The 3 black Cadillacs appear like sharks in calm water. They double park, blocking traffic. The doors open simultaneously. 8 white men step out, all wearing dark suits, thin ties, shiny shoes. Italians, mafia, Genovese family. Everyone on the street immediately recognizes what this means. Conversations cut off. The music from the nearby bar seems to drop in volume. People begin to drift away silently, disappearing into alleys and stores. The leader, a 35-year-old man with a scar on his left cheek and a gold ring on every finger, walks straight toward the barbershop. His name is Tony the Butcher Russo, a lieutenant in the Genovese family, known for his methodical cruelty. He carries a Louisville Slugger baseball bat resting on his shoulder. The other 7 follow him in military formation, chains wrapped around their fists. Clarence keeps sweeping. He doesn't look up. He doesn't change his rhythm. He pushes dry leaves into small piles, as if 8 armed mafiosi were as relevant as the March wind. Tony stops in front of the barbershop door. He bangs the glass with his bat. The sound echoes like a gunshot. Inside, the 6 barbers stop cutting hair. The customers freeze in their chairs. Everyone knows what's coming. Everyone has heard the stories about what the Italian mafia does when it invades black territory. "Listen up," Tony shouts in a voice thick with a Brooklyn accent. "This neighborhood now pays the Genovese family. Bumpy Johnson is finished. Harlem is ours. Anyone who works for that nigger is going to end up in the Hudson River. Got it?" Absolute silence. No one inside the barbershop moves. No one answers. The fear is palpable, thick as cigar smoke. Tony smiles, that cruel smile of a man accustomed to instant obedience. He signals to his men. 2 of them grab a metal trash can from the sidewalk and hurl it through the barbershop window. The glass explodes into 1,000 pieces. Screams inside. Customers hit the floor. Barbers back against the walls. Clarence stops sweeping. Slowly, very slowly, he looks up. He sees the shattered glass, hears the terrified screams, watches Tony laughing as his men begin to smash up the outside of the barbershop. Something changes in Clarence's eyes. An ancient coldness, a dangerous stillness he hasn't shown in 15 years. "Hey, old man," shouts one of the Italians, a 23-year-old kid with acne and too much confidence. "Get out of here before we crack your skull." Clarence carefully leans his broom against the wall. He removes his worn cap, folds it, tucks it into the pocket of his overalls. His movements are slow, deliberate, as if he has all the time in the world. "This is my sidewalk. Clarence says in a low, hoarse voice, loaded with an authority that doesn't match his humble janitor appearance. I've been sweeping it for 15 years. Nobody breaks windows on my sidewalk. Tony turns toward Clarence. He looks him up and down. He sees a stooped old black man, unarmed, no visible threat. He laughs. It's a genuine, amused laugh. Your sidewalk? Grandpa, this is Harlem, and Harlem now belongs to the Genovese family. You're nobody. Clarence takes a step toward Tony. There is no fear in his posture. No doubt. Only a quiet, absolute certainty. You're right about one thing. Harlem matters. But you're wrong about who controls it. And you're wrong about who I am. The young kid with acne steps up to Clarence, raises his chain. Shut up, old man. You don't know who you're talking to. This is Tony Russo. He kills people. Clarence looks the kid straight in the eyes. So do I. 73 people between 1932 and 1949. All on Bumpy Johnson's orders. All deserved. All clean. That's why they call me Clean Hands. Because I never left evidence. Never left witnesses. Never failed. The silence that follows is different from the earlier one. This silence has weight, has history, has dried blood along its edges. The 8 Italians look at each other. Tony stops smiling. His hand grips the bat tighter. You're lying, Tony finally says. Clean Hands is an urban legend, a story the blacks made up to scare people. He doesn't exist. Clarence slowly unbuttons the top 3 buttons of his overalls. Underneath, he wears a white t-shirt. On his left shoulder is a faded tattoo, numbers 73. Below the numbers, a phrase in cursive script, Justice for Harlem. Each number stands for a life I took, Clarence says. I got this tattoo in 1949, the day Bumpy told me I didn't need to kill anymore, that I could retire. He gave me this barbershop. He gave me this simple job. He gave me peace. You just destroyed that peace. Tony takes a step back. His survival instinct, honed by years in the mafia, tells him something is terribly wrong. This isn't a scared old janitor. This is a predator who has been asleep and just woke up. One of the Italians, a fat 40-year-old man with a thick mustache, pulls out a Colt .45 pistol. He aims it straight at Clarence's head. I don't care who you used to be. Now you're an old man. We're 8. We're armed. You're dead. Clarence doesn't look at the gun. He keeps his eyes on Tony. You made 3 mistakes. First, you came to Harlem without Bumpy's permission. Second, you destroyed property Bumpy gave me. Third, you assumed an old man is a defenseless man. He walks slowly toward the barbershop door. The Italians track him with their weapons, but no one fires. There is something in the way Clarence moves that paralyzes them. A total absence of fear. A certainty that he controls this situation, not them. Clarence crouches down, picks up a large piece of broken glass. He holds it between his fingers, testing the edge. Still sharp. He looks at Tony. Do you know why Bumpy called me Clean Hands? It wasn't because I cleaned up evidence. It was because I could kill a man with anything. A piece of broken glass, a pencil, a belt, my own hands. I didn't need guns. Guns leave traces. I left nothing. The fat man with the pistol steps closer, presses the barrel against Clarence's temple. Drop the glass, old man, now. Clarence drops the glass. It falls to the ground, shatters into smaller pieces. He slowly raises his hands in a gesture of surrender. But his eyes never stop calculating. Distances, angles, vulnerable points. The muscle memory of 73 executions doesn't disappear, no matter how many years you spend sweeping sidewalks. Tony regains his confidence. He walks up to Clarence, grabs him by the collar of his overalls. I'm going to give you one chance, Grandpa. Tell Bumpy Johnson that Tony Russo was here. Tell him he has 48 hours to get out of Harlem. Tell him the Genovese family now controls the gambling, the numbers, the heroin, everything. If he doesn't obey, we start killing his people, starting with you. Clarence looks at Tony with something close to pity. Kid, you're 35, maybe younger. You're strong, you're cruel, you've got 8 armed men. But you don't understand Harlem. You don't understand Bumpy. And you definitely don't understand me. Tony shoves him violently. Clarence crashes against the brick wall of the barbershop. The impact is hard. Clarence feels a rib crack. The pain is sharp, but distant. He has broken bones before, his own and others. He knows exactly how much pressure it takes to crack a rib, how much to puncture a lung. This kid is an amateur. He's just playing at being dangerous. From inside the barbershop, one of the customers shouts, "Leave him alone. He's just an old man." Tony smiles. He climbs through the broken window into the barber shop. His shoes crunch on the glass. He grabs the customer who shouted, a 45-year-old man in a blue suit, drags him outside, throws him to the ground next to Clarence. "You've got a message for Bumpy too," Tony says. He kicks the man in the ribs. The man screams, doubles over in pain. Tony kicks him again, and again. The violence is methodical, designed to humiliate, not to kill. Yet, Clarence rises slowly. His right hand moves to the inside pocket of his overalls. The Italians don't notice. They're too busy enjoying the beating. Clarence pulls out a small silver antique whistle. He brings it to his lips. "What are you going to do, old man?" the Acne Kid mocks. "Call the cops?" Clarence blows the whistle. The sound is shrill, piercing, carries down the entire block. The Italians laugh. Tony stops kicking the man on the ground. "That's it? A whistle?" Clarence pockets the whistle. "We wait 30 seconds. You'll see." For 10 seconds, nothing happens. The Italians look at each other, confused. Then doors begin to open. First, the door of the bar on the corner. 6 black men come out, all carrying baseball bats. Then the door of the apartment building across the street. 8 more men emerge, some with chains, others with metal pipes. Then the alley. 12 men step out of the shadows. In 30 seconds, 26 men surround the 8 Italians. All armed, all with expressions that allow no negotiation, all waiting for orders from Clarence. Tony looks around, his confidence evaporating. What is this? Clarence brushes the dust off his overalls. This is Harlem. This is Bumpy Johnson's territory. And I am clean hands. When I blow this whistle, every man within 3 blocks who owes loyalty to Bumpy comes running. You're 8. We're 27. You have guns. We have the whole neighborhood. The fat man with the pistol aims at Clarence again. His hand shakes. If you kill us, the Genovese family will send 100 men. This will turn into war. Clarence nods. You're right. That's why I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to give you a message to take back to your boss. He signals to his men. Take their weapons. The 26 men move like a coordinated unit. In 15 seconds, the 8 Italians are disarmed. 3 pistols, 5 switchblades, 2 sets of brass knuckles. Everything confiscated. Tony tries to resist. A man twists his arm behind his back. Tony screams in pain, drops to his knees. Clarence walks slowly toward Tony. He crouches down, speaks in a low, almost gentle voice. Listen to me carefully, kid. I'm going to explain how this works. Bumpy Johnson has controlled Harlem since 1932. He has deals with the police, with politicians, with churches, with every business for 40 blocks. You Italians control the Bronx, Brooklyn, parts of Queens. That's the border. It's always been the border. Tony spits blood. His pride is broken, but his rage remains. Our boss says the borders have changed. Clarence shakes his head. Then your boss is a fool, and you're a fool for obeying him. 20 years ago, the Luciano family tried to take Harlem. They sent 30 men. Bumpy met them with 200. 15 Italians died that night. The other 15 went back with the message. Harlem is untouchable. He stands, walks around the 8 kneeling Italians. Now, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to let you go. But first, you need to understand the cost of your mistake. He signals. 4 of his men grab Tony. Hold him. Clarence walks to one of the black Cadillacs. He picks up the baseball bat Tony dropped. He weighs it in his hands. Louisville Slugger. Good wood. He returns to Tony. The other 7 Italians watch, terrified. Clarence raises the bat. Tony closes his eyes, expecting the blow to his head. But Clarence doesn't hit him. Instead, he smashes the Cadillac's windshield. The glass explodes. Then the side windows. Then the lights. Then the tires. Methodically, without hurry, he destroys all 3 Cadillacs. When he's finished, the cars are wrecks. Clarence tosses the bat at Tony's feet. This is the message. Tell your boss that Clarence Washington, clean hands, Bumpy Johnson's right-hand man, says Harlem is not for sale. It's not available. It's not negotiable. If he sends more men, I won't destroy cars. I'll destroy bodies. Understood? Tony nods, humiliated, defeated. Understood. Clarence signals to his men. Let them go. The 8 Italians stand awkwardly. They are bruised, frightened, disarmed. They start walking toward their ruined cars. Clarence stops them. The cars stay here. You walk. It's a long way back to the Bronx. It'll give you time to think about your choices. Tony looks at Clarence with pure hatred. This isn't over. Clarence smiles for the first time all night. It's a cold smile, without humor. Yes, it is over. Because if you come back, if your boss sends more men, if I see a single Italian on this block without Bumpy's permission, there'll be no warnings, no conversations, just bodies in the Hudson River. And believe me, kid, I know exactly how to make sure bodies never float. The 8 Italians start walking. The crowd of 26 men parts, forming a corridor. The Italians walk between them, heads down, pride shattered. When they disappear into the distance, the crowd erupts in applause. Clarence raises a hand. Silence returns immediately. Clean up this mess, he says. Pick up the glass. Call the glazier. By tomorrow morning, this barbershop will be good as new. And nobody talks to the police about this. Nobody talks to anyone. What happened here tonight stays here. The men nod. They disperse, each with a task. In 10 minutes, the glass is cleared. The wrecked cars are pushed into an empty lot. The sidewalk is clean. Clarence picks up his broom, starts sweeping again, as if nothing had happened. One of the barbers comes out of the shop. He's a 60-year-old man named Samuel, Clarence's friend for 30 years. Clarence, you okay? Clarence nods without stopping his sweeping. I'm fine, Samuel. Just a little misunderstanding. Samuel looks at the wrecked cars in the lot. Little misunderstanding. Sure. He pauses. Does Bumpy know what happened? Clarence pulls a coin from his pocket. He'll know in 5 minutes. He walks to the phone booth on the corner, dials a number he knows by heart. Someone answers on the second ring. Bumpy, it's Clarence. We had visitors. Genovese family. 8 men. Tony Russo leading. They broke the barbershop window. I sent them back with a message. The voice on the other end is deep, calm, full of authority. Anyone hurt? Just their pride. And 3 Cadillacs. Silence. Then a low laugh. Clarence, you've been sweeping sidewalks for 15 years. I thought you'd forgotten how to do this. Clarence looks at his reflection in the phone booth glass. He sees a 58-year-old man in janitor's overalls. But he also sees the man he was 15 years ago. Clean hands. The problem solver. The ghost of Harlem. You never forget, Bumpy. You just put it away. Bumpy takes a deep breath. You think they'll come back? No, but their boss might send more men, more dangerous men. Then we'll be ready. Thank you, old friend. Rest. We'll talk tomorrow. Clarence hangs up. He returns to his broom. He sweeps the last dry leaves, the last cigarette butts. At 11:47 p.m., the sidewalk is perfectly clean. The barbershop has a window boarded with plywood, but it will be fixed tomorrow. The 3 wrecked Cadillacs will be stripped and sold for parts. By Monday, there will be no evidence anything happened. Clarence puts his broom away in the small closet next to the barbershop. He takes off his overalls, hangs them up. Underneath, he wears black trousers and a white shirt. He puts on a tweed jacket, a fedora. Now he looks like a different man. Not a janitor. A Harlem gentleman. He walks 3 blocks to a small apartment on the 3rd floor of a red brick building. He climbs the stairs slowly. His knees creak. He feels every one of his 58 years. He opens the door. Inside, his wife of 35 years, Dorothy, is reading a book on the sofa. How was your night? She asks without looking up. Quiet, Clarence answers. Just swept the sidewalk. Dorothy looks at him over her book. You've got glass in your shoe. Clarence looks down. A small shard of glass is embedded in the sole of his right shoe. He picks it out, pockets it. Somebody broke a bottle. You know how Saturday nights are. Dorothy closes her book. Clarence Washington, we've been married 20 years. I know when you're lying. What really happened? Clarence sits beside her. He takes her hand. Some Italian kids came to make trouble. I reminded them why they shouldn't. Anyone hurt? Just their pride. Dorothy squeezes his hand. I thought you were done with that life. Clarence looks into her eyes. So did I. But some things never really end. They just pause. 3 days later, the New York Times runs a small article on page 12. Renewed peace between Harlem and Bronx organizations. The article mentions that community leaders from both neighborhoods met to reaffirm territorial boundaries and avoid conflict. It does not mention Bumpy Johnson. It does not mention the Genovese family. It does not mention Clarence Washington. In New York, the most important stories are never printed. Clarence keeps sweeping his sidewalk. Every morning at 7, every night until 11. The barbershop window was repaired. The 3 Cadillacs vanished. Tony Russo never returned to Harlem. His boss, after hearing the full report, decided Harlem wasn't worth a war. The borders remained intact. But now, when Clarence sweeps, people look at him differently. Young men give bigger tips. Old men nod with deep respect. Everyone knows who he really is. Everyone knows the humble janitor is the most dangerous man for 40 blocks. And that, in Harlem, is worth more than any title or gun. One night, a 16-year-old boy approaches Clarence while he sweeps. "Mr. Washington, is it true you're clean hands?" Clarence stops sweeping. He looks at the boy. He sees hunger in his eyes. Hunger for power, for respect, for escape from poverty. The same hunger Clarence had at 16. "Why do you ask?" "I want to be like you. I want people to respect me. I want them to fear me." Clarence places a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Listen to me carefully. The respect you see doesn't come from the 73 men I killed. It comes from 15 years sweeping this sidewalk honestly. It comes from protecting my community. It comes from knowing when to fight and when to sweep. Violence is easy. Any fool can kill. The hard part is living with the consequences. The hard part is building something instead of destroying. So I should never fight?" Clarence shakes his head. "Fight when there's no other choice. Fight to protect, not to prove something. And if you have to fight, do it so well that you never have to do it again. That's the difference between a thug and a protector." The boy nods slowly. "Thank you, Mr. Washington." Clarence resumes sweeping. "You're welcome, son. Now go home. Your mother's worried." The boy walks away. Clarence watches him disappear into the Harlem night. He wonders if his words will make a difference. He wonders if the boy will choose the hard path or the easy one. He wonders how many more boys he'll have to counsel before Harlem finally finds true peace. But for now, he sweeps. Because that's what he does. That's who he is. Clarence Washington, clean hands, Bumpy Johnson's right-hand man, the janitor of 125th Street, the man who killed 73 people and now cleans sidewalks, the man who proved that redemption doesn't mean forgetting who you were, but choosing who you will be.